G'day guys, Josh here. Welcome to Financial Fruits episode 12, which is basically going to be about investment psyche. Or alternatively, we could put investment psyche up here actually. Let's just do that, okay? Investment psyche. So basically, it's like discipline or like and all that jazz, okay? So basically, it's like, mindset, what sort of mindset and what sort of things you're going to face when you're investing into the market. And, in general, obviously, disclaimer, obviously, this is not personal advice, obviously, blah, blah, blah. I'm not trying to give you any financial advice. I'm just trying to give you a description of what does occur in your own head during this entire journey of you investing into the market and stuff like that as well. And just be aware that, that you are going to deal with, like, mental games that you feel you may have failed because you didn't sell one at high enough or buy it low enough or anything like that. And that's okay, because you got to remember the goal at the end of the day for your retirement or whatever, house or something like that, you don't have to if you put a time frame on it, it's going to be always a disappointment to you or a great success. Because either you're going to save to it or you're not going to save to it. That sort of stuff. So just be wary of that as well. And as you may have noticed, I've shaved since last weekend. I actually didn't even mention it in my previous video that I shaved. But you may notice that I've lost a lot less beard, okay? Because one of my friends is like, you look like a homeless person. And I'm like, okay, it's time. So let's talk about, minds. Let's talk about the common one that people abuse a lot, and you may know that they abuse a lot is FOMO. Okay, so FOMO stands for the fear of missing out. And what a lot of people do, especially pressure salesmen, high pressure salesmen, is that they always use words like last chance, okay? And don't want to miss out on a great deal, okay? And these are I gotta tell you right now, these are marketing ploys, okay? Don't fall for it, okay? There is always another time to buy something or like buy an asset that could do similar, okay? Funny enough, there are very few companies in the world that have a monopoly on whatever they're selling, okay? And most of those are infrastructure assets. And I'm going to tell you right now, you know what infrastructure assets are? Highly regulated, okay? So they can't make a stupid big profit as well. They're highly regulated by the government. So like there are very few companies that actually have a complete, as they call it, they refer to it as a moat. They have a thick moat that aren't highly regulated, okay? Just an FYI, okay? So basically, let's say, for example, let's say, Telstra, which is an example in Australia, had a thick moat previously in the telecom space because everyone had to rent their copper lines, okay? But government bought it and rolled the NBN out, okay? Which will probably become a monopoly too. So that's just an example, okay? There are very few companies that have a moat. So when people promote, they'll be like, this new crypto gonna change the world. Lol. You can just be like, yeah, and I can wait for next crypto. You don't have to buy in, okay? Because they said it's the last chance. And also, I gotta say, a lot of scammers kind of use this kind of tactic as well. They're like, oh yeah, this was the last chance, but I can sneak you in for an extra $5, blah blah blah. Stuff like that, okay? And when someone does stuff like that, I can tell you right now, that's bad, okay? If they can magically sneak you in and the last chance wasn't the last chance, it generally means that these people didn't get enough people in the first place by using these buzzwords. And a lot of those people who are doing this are just emotional manipulators at the end of the day. And with investing, I know there's some sort of emotion in the market because the market overall is a psychological mindset of people in general, whether they feel positive or negative. It's to just not get caught up in that, okay? Thoughts go in, thoughts go out, breathe in, breathe out. That's why I talked about meditation last time, because that's what I do. I do meditation to just, thoughts go in, thoughts go out. And, sometimes I just don't worry about the investments too much as long as I feel the investments and the investment managers and respective companies are doing, the best interest in the business and running it quite well. So with FOMO, just keep it in check. Be aware that just because someone says the last chance to get something doesn't mean it is. I mean, the future is uncertain. Someone could release like a similar thing next year and you can invest in that. Or, basically a new fund comes on the market, like one of the fund managers, like, hey, let's put an investment fund together as well, where you can, invest in a diversified portion of it as well. I mean, there's a lot of competition here. There are very few areas where they have a complete monopoly over something. Okay, next up, we're going to go for the buyers and sellers regret. So with buyers and sellers regret as well, this is obviously another, psyche as well, is when you buy something and it goes down, or sell something and it goes up, because people want to pick the top and pick the bottom. I'm gonna be straight up with you, okay? Bottom. I'm gonna be straight up with you. You can't pick the top and the bottom. I'm gonna say right now, your exit strategy from any investment should not be related to catching highs and lows. That's why they call catching a low is catching knives, okay? The reason why they call it catching knives is that it either just goes through your hand and it goes lower, or like basically like it's really hard to catch without cutting yourself, okay? Like the price could get lower and stuff like that. That's what I call, like, when you try to buy something while it's going down, catching knives. You're not sure if it's going to go bankrupt, you lose all your money, and that's pretty much it. And with, selling something as it goes as peak, it's called climbing Mount Everest, basically, as well. And the reason why it's called climbing Mount Everest is that you're not sure if you're going to get to the top price or not, okay? Like, very few people sell it at the correct time. And also, you got to realize as well, with the peaks and lows, and everyone knows this as well, it's just, proving insider trading is very difficult. Is that some people have insider information, stuff like that they don't release to the market till a bit later so they can trade with that market in mind. Now, obviously, I'm not going to say do that sort of stuff, not going to endorse it because it's criminal, but be aware people do it, okay? Because people do it, and it's very hard for them to prove, because, of course, with prosecutions beyond unreasonable doubt, that they traded with inside knowledge, given a lot of people have a throwaway reason of why they did it, okay? So just be aware of that soon. Now, with dealing with buy and seller's regret, generally what you want to do is that, as I said here, your exit strategy should not be catching highs or lows. Same with your entrance strategies, okay? Your entrance strategy for a share should be on the basis of the business, not its average share price, okay? Because there could be reasons why the share price plummeted. Let's give you for one example, Lend-Lease in Australia, where it's gone down 50%, and that's due to the fact that they have not made a profit for post-COVID, as expected. Okay, profit guidance down. That sort of stuff, okay? And that's why it's just tanked, because everyone's just like panicky, stuff like that as well. Telstra also did a similar thing when they dropped their dividend from 100% profit to 70% profit after NBN sale or copper line sale. No longer a monopoly. So just be aware of that as well, that you don't buy in, okay, because of the share price. That you don't buy into a share like, oh, it's $2. Used to be for $50. It could go back up. What happens if, like, the business, like, model is not recoverable due to losing a lot of key people? Just be aware of that as well. So that's what I'm going to say with fear of missing out. This also combines with that as well, is that, like, you got to really check your company before you buy it, okay? And by checking the company, stuff like that, is where you can check the financials, you can check, there's a lot of experts, stuff like that, do a lot of canvassing in this area as well. Check with them, like, basically they could say, like, hey, the guy running the fund's a newbie compared to the old guy is a, 30-year vet, Vietnam vet too, so he's been through the crashes and stuff like that. There's a whole different ball game as well. But I think that's going to be enough for today. The video is getting to 10 minutes, so That's what you got to deal with these behaviors. FOMO and buyers and sellers regrets are generally the most common ones because people want to get more money and get more oversee money out of it, and sometimes they may regret regret what they've done. At the end of the day, basically since the future's uncertain, you shouldn't be expecting anything too much other than reach your goal eventually. Setting a time frame is good. You don't need to stick to that time frame altogether. Like for example, I started saving for my first unit, this apartment here, this 2 bedroom. I started saving when I was 23. Okay, and I was setting a goal for 30, to have it all done and dusted. I got it in at 28, 29, and that's a key success for me at the same time. That could have been really, really bad if some of the shares that I purchased had gone down, but overall, I did a pretty good effort. Luckily enough, I think I did have a slight gain overall, but would have been better off. Like I would have been better off in the share market than if I didn't do it in the end. And yeah, that's pretty much it. As I've said, guys, always like even some of my property investor friends said it as well, is that your entrance and exit strategy needs to be planned and needs to not matter about about the price. Okay, like doesn't matter about the price. In other words, like getting the tip or getting the bottom of the market. So one of my property mates, okay, let's just talk about this quote before I end it. One of my mates is talking about this where you shouldn't be really focusing on that. Like, if you want to exit in 5 years, make sure you exit in 5 years, basically, okay? And whether you make a profit or not is, that's the sort of thing it is. Because some people stay a bit too long trying to make a bit extra profit or trying to make sure the market goes back up and they completely forget the goal. And then the investment just goes haywire, essentially. And there's like no really actual plan for the investment. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Financial Fruits. If you guys have a great day, like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the content. There could be additional content coming out during this week, given the fact it is Christmas week, and I don't have much to do, so I could give you guys some Christmas specials. See you guys later. Peace out. Bye.